right. Shannon Sharpe is being sued by an OnlyFans model, and it's just getting started here. We have all the inside analysis you'll receive absolutely nowhere else in one concise, compact package, along with some debunking of some folks thinking, I guess, they're going to give out some popular wisdom. It is not wisdom at all. So let's go ahead and deal with what we know here, not what we speculate, what we know. Shannon Sharpe is being sued by this woman right here, Gabrielle Zuniga. He met her at the gym. Glad to see they've been getting along so well. But by the way, he met her at the gym. So this gives you a very good idea on your screen right here of what he saw. And apparently, specifically probably what she looked like over there on the left, that was enough for him. And he said, okay, let's take a ride. All right. So first of all, you need to understand that a lot's going on, and Shannon is finding out that if you sit back and say nothing, it's only going to be a matter of time before they come for you. Because now when it comes out, folks, and it rains, it pours. Another woman is sitting up here. Oh boy. Now this is a different one. This is not Zuniga. This is a different one. What? This is a different one. There's a woman suing him for alleged defamation. Claims that he sexually assaulted her back in 2010. Michelle Evans is her name. Says that she filed a suit against Sharpe in 2023, nearly 2 years before Gabrielle Zuniga. So he's having to deal with lawsuits in New York, a new lawsuit in Nevada, and the media going to go digging. Because they're also talking about that Fox Sports 1 had to pay out hundreds of thousands of dollars to some woman who says that years ago Shannon had choked her at the place. They're saying that there was some rough housing going on. Not really sure what that was, but yeah, folks, they're saying that they had to settle a, quote, physical incident with a female PA, production assistant. So this was back when he was on Undisputed. So when it rains, it pours. When it rains, it pours. Now, I want to be clear about something here. There's some folks there in the chat room talking about they deserve what they get. Okay. Some of y'all need to pump the brakes here. You have to understand, you got to turn that hater gene off for a moment and be objective. I know it's real easy to hate. Well, if I was in that position. No. This is not time to be emotional and impulsive. So we're here tonight to dissect the matter. So Shannon Sharpe is currently under more than one lawsuit, and you know how this goes. Now, the attorney representing Gabrielle Zuniga is, of course, Tony Busby. Tony Busby, who has sued Deshaun Watson, P. Diddy, a number of other black celebrities, athletes. So this is basically his thing. Now, if this were a black attorney going around suing nothing but white entertainers and white athletes, Megyn Kelly and the rest of the alt-right, of course, Fox News, they would all be all over the place. So this is what this guy does. Now, first, what he does is he sends the shakedown letter. First thing he does is find a female who has slept with you. He finds some disgruntled ex. He finds a female somewhere. He finds her. He tells her he'll take her case on no charges. It's contingency. You just work with him and he'll take care of the shakedown. He then sends your attorneys or your employer a letter letting you all know that he has a client who isn't going to the police. Not going to the police now. We ain't going to the cops. No. This is too good for police. I'm sorry. The police say that there's no evidence, insufficient evidence. So they say, well, we're going to sue you in civil court. And in civil court, it's not about the suing in civil court. It is about the announcement that you're being sued. That's the game they play, is character assassination and reputation destruction. That if you don't pay us $6 million, $10 million, $20 million, then we are going to go public. If you don't pay, we're going to go public. If you don't pay. That's what it's going to be. And that's the game they play here. So every time he goes to somebody, it's going to be somebody who's gotten a big contract, and he's going to tell them, this is how much you got to pay me. My client. And if you don't, then we're going to publicly announce a lawsuit. Now, remember, they tried this with Jay-Z, and they trotted out some chick who said that Jay-Z did something to her when she was 13. Complete nonsense, but that didn't stop him from doing it, because that's his business model. His business model is finding someone who's willing to pay or potentially is willing to pay $10 million to shut you up. No evidence required. Are they more afraid of what you'll say in a lawsuit and it going public than they are of paying to keep you quiet? So that's his business model. That's his business model. Find some chick who says she slept with you, tell her that you'll take her case on contingency if she accuses you, sue for tens of millions of dollars, tell them pay us or we're going to take it to court, and drag your name through the mud and everything else. That's the business model. And it used to be that you couldn't find attorneys that would do this kind of thing. It used to be very rare. But in this era that we live in, and with the lopsided system that we live in, and the fact that there are few consequences for attorneys doing this kind of thing, that's what you're witnessing now. Now, I got a lot to cover here tonight. I have a lot to cover. I have a lot to go over here. I want to let me go ahead and first deal with one thing here. Now, Shannon Sharpe's attorney, Lanny Davis, he went and talked to Don Lemon. What? Of all people. He went to talk to Don Lemon. I don't know why. I don't understand. I don't know why. Have no clue. However, it is worthy enough. I think he talked to him yesterday, or at least the video was posted yesterday. And I want you to hear some of this. And this is a reminder to people. It is a reminder to people about where you go, and you got to know who you're dealing with. And a lot of these folks have not learned their lesson. Now, I want you to hear, this is 3 minutes into the interview. I want you to hear this exchange.
We have evidence of her lies from her own words and what she was asking for in the text messages, but we will prove affirmatively what Shannon Sharpe said on his Instagram account. He's innocent. There was never a moment of other than consensual sex. And this is about blackmail and a shakedown scheme.
Okay.
All right. Well, that pretty much explains everything you need to know right there. I wonder what Don is going to say next.
So people are dialing in at every second, as you know, and streaming. That's what Shannon does. I'm sure you're very aware of it. So we have more people joining us. So I just want to say that we are joined by famed attorney Lanny Davis, who is attorney for Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe's attorney. You guys misspelled attorney. Shannon.
Yeah, Don, you're just complete amateur hour. By the way, as you all can tell, Don is so thrilled to actually have people watch his little YouTube channel, because nobody does. So as you can see, Don is absolutely ecstatic. He can't contain himself right now. Enjoy it while you can, buddy, because it's back off into obscurity. You go.
Sharpe's attorney, so you can take it down and put it up, speaks. Okay, so Lanny, The fact that she works for OnlyFans, is that somehow undermine her credibility? I mean, because folks would say they would call that, shaming of some sort, if you know.
No,
What? Now, so talking about Shannon Sharpe as a professional athlete and the NFL, so that's not shaming. If Shannon Sharpe was a gangster rapper, that's not shaming. That would all be relevant. That's fair game. So here comes Don Lemon. And of course, because Don wishes he could get attention for anything. So this is what he comes out with. Well, bringing up that she has an OnlyFans isn't, some people say that's shaming. So you got to understand, in case anybody was under any illusions about whether or not Don is still walking around with that G-string thong on, let that go ahead and let you know there's a reason why he cannot be among males, and this is the reason why.
Shannon Sharpe's attorney, so you can take it down and put it up, speaks. Okay, so Lanny, the fact that she works for OnlyFans, is that somehow undermine her credibility? I mean, because folks would say they would call that, shaming of some sort, if you know.
No, I absolutely am not.
In the realm of her skirt was too short.
How she decides to earn a living, I'm not making any comment about her decision to use OnlyFans. That's her decision. I'm not criticizing that decision or judging her for that decision. The relevance is fantasy role-playing is what, among other things, she does on this particular site, OnlyFans. The fantasy role-playing was the explicit sex messages or text messages that we posted that she asked for over and over again, including wearing a dog collar and engaging in non-traditional forms of sex. So it's consistent with my statement, which we will prove, that she's a liar, that she engaged as the news of his success and future contract came to her attention. She took advantage to leverage the possibility of her getting paid, and she blackmailed him.
So for those of you who are unaware, Shannon Sharpe has been rumored, not confirmed yet, but it's been rumored that somebody was looking at giving him $100 million bag to go ahead and get under their banner to bring Club Shay Shay with them. So it's been rumored more than one place. Now, it's some folks that don't get stuck, because there's actually been more than one place that's been offering him a multi-million-dollar deal. I mean, we're talking about $50, $100 million to go with them. So now Shannon's been talking to folk with, they've been talking about Joe Rogan money. They've been throwing Joe Rogan figures in the mix about Shannon. So that's been in the wind now for the last couple of months, that folks have been looking at getting him under the wing for hundreds of millions. And what do you know? Just as soon as that comes up, here comes some side piece. Your neighborhood jump off is saying, hey, I found an ambulance chaser that says you got to give me something. If you're going to get paid, we got to get paid. You got to give me something. So that gives you an idea where that comes from. That gives you an idea where that comes from. And you see this kind of stuff happening. You see that occurring. You see folks in the media are eager to go ahead and jump on it. They're eager to get out there. They're eager to drag you through the mud on that. So you're not going to get a bunch of help there to go along with it. Now, I want to deal with some issues here, because more information is going to come out. I know stuff is coming out and things, and I'm not going to just jump on things because something dropped. I want to see how it's going to pan out. So I don't want to be first. I want to be right. So there's more stuff coming out. We don't have to get into that kind of thing. There's more stuff coming out. But my whole thing has been dealing with some of the basics here. I want to deal with some of the basics. So let's go ahead and take a look at the lawsuit right quick. We're not going to read the whole thing. We are not going to read the entire thing. But you can see here that this is another incentive to get attorneys to file lawsuits. If you can file them anonymously and you get to do damage to people without being out there first, then that gives you an incentive to lie because your attorney's like, oh, don't worry. You can file this. Nobody, if it works out, great. And if you don't, nobody will know it was you. Shannon blew that up. And those of us on the internet are not going to abide by a code of omerta. So Gabrielle Zuniga, this is your life calling. So they were sitting up here, and as you can see in the lawsuit here, Shannon Sharpe is a 56-year-old former NFL superstar. Doesn't say athlete, superstar. He claims to be one of the most successful sports media personalities in the country. Tony, you wouldn't be suing him if he wasn't. If he wasn't, you wouldn't be suing him. Plaintiff is a young woman in her early 20s. Okay. You concealed her as long as you could have. In 2023, plaintiff was working out at a gym in Los Angeles. So that's why I showed you all these pictures here before, so that you can see that this is basically what Shannon saw at the gym. This right here is what he saw. So if you want to have an idea, on your screen right there, I went to her Instagram. We'll come to that in a moment here. But this is what Shannon saw at the gym, ostensibly. So he saw that and he said he got to have it. So, okay. She wanted to upgrade from that YSL, I see. But yeah, this was the chick at the gym. Okay. All right. We're going to come back to that, by the way, because that has relevance. I'm not just saying that for no reason. That has relevance. I'm going to come back to that in a few moments. That has relevance. At the time, she was 19 years old. At this time, Doe was just 19 years old. At the time, she did not know who he was.
Lie.
At the time, she didn't know who he was. Other than an older man ogling her at the gym. Doe could tell Sharpe was much older than her. She found him physically intimidating. So they're playing the black card on that one. The black racism card against black can go on that one. So the anti-black racism card is first out the deck. He's physically intimidating because Shannon's 56 years old. You don't see muscular men at a gym. She was at the gym, he was at the gym, and you don't see muscular men at the gym, right? Eventually, he introduced himself. At his determined insistence, she gave him her number.
What?
People. She was so intimidated that she, in 2025, where a white woman knows that all she got to do is say, get him, call the police. And this is how crazy, do you realize how unhinged you have to be to accept this version of the events? Okay, let me put this in proper context. For the women in here, for the women, if you told your boyfriend or your husband, baby, all those weird calls I'm getting at night that you've been getting upset over, well, that was Shannon Sharpe. And, well, how did he get your number? Well, I gave it to him. You gave it to him? Well, yeah, because you see, we were at the gym. Oh, it wasn't a back alley. You were at the gym, a public place. Well, he was big and intimidating, and he just kept asking me, so I gave him my number. Now, I want to know how many women in here think that's going to go over well with your boyfriend or your husband, that you're getting phone calls for weeks in the middle of the night from Shannon Sharpe, and you tell him, oh, I had to give him I got it from the gym. I had to give it to him because he was big and intimidating, and he just kept insisting. If you had a homegirl who told you that story, well, there was this guy at the gym and he was big and intimidating and he just kept asking me, so I finally gave him my number. And it was the correct number. I didn't even give him a wrong number. I made sure he had the right number. Now, what this also leaves out is that this all happened the same day.
Damn!
That's the thing that Tony Busby is trying to obfuscate here. By the way, this happened the same day. So he walked up, he introduced himself. She claiming she doesn't know who one of the biggest podcasters and athletes on the planet. Oh, I don't know who it is. But when he asked for my number, I gave it to him. Okay. Over the next couple of weeks, Sharpe incessantly pursued plaintiff. He constantly approached her at the gym and attempted to contact her frequently with phone calls and text messages asking to meet up, unwilling to take no for an answer. Well, if that's a true statement, then Tony Busby should be able to release all the text messages showing that he was contacting her and she was not contacting him. Now, that should be very easy to substantiate that he was contacting her and she wasn't contacting him. And what I'm saying is you're lying and trying to make it seem, oh, she didn't want to meet up with him. So, really? So, at the gym, she was intimidated. And when she's home by herself, by her phone, she's still intimidated. So, she just does whatever. People, do you realize how outrageously crazed you have to be to fall for this? Even if anything else she said was accurate, this right here is nonsense. This is garbage. Eventually, plaintiff gave in and agreed to meet with Sharpe outside the gym. People remember they did the same thing with the Diddy lawsuit. This is the exact same thing that he was saying in the Diddy lawsuit. Same thing. That these big black men, women just bow to their will because they're insistent. Well, if that's all it takes to get a chick in the bed is just be persistent, well, then hell, dudes was scoring all over the damn gym, if that's the rationale. But of course, we're not that silly out here. The rest of us are not that stupid. If you all agree that we are not that stupid, give me the light bulb emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. There's over 2,000 people in here live in just the first 20 minutes. But if we're not all that dumb, give me the light bulb emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button. Or if folks don't like the program, I'll go ahead and shut it down here in a little bit because I've got something to work on. That's fine too. Now, this next part was interesting. Eventually, plaintiff gave in and agreed to meet with Sharpe outside of the gym. Now, what you didn't put on here was a time frame, because if they met outside the gym the next day, that don't look very good. Over the next couple of weeks, how many weeks? How many times she get contacted? So you can't believe everything you hear. Now, plaintiff agreed to meet Sharpe outside the gym. However, before doing so, Sharpe demanded that Doe sign a non-disclosure agreement, something plaintiff found a bit concerning. She wondered why Sharpe was so insistent on her signing an NDA. She refused. Despite his repeated efforts to get her to sign, she refused time and again. Eventually, he dropped the issue and invited her to his house. Now, I don't know if this part here is factual, because consider the source. I don't know if this part is accurate or factual, but what I do know is that if that's the way it occurred, this is the part where Shannon certainly could have done more to protect himself. However, an NDA wouldn't have helped. So any dumbass out there talking about NDAs, an NDA under these circumstances would not help, because an NDA cannot be used to protect you from illegal activity, from criminal activity. So the way in which lawyers unscrupulously are getting folk around NDAs in court is to say, well, accuse him of doing something illegal. You have to sue him for something that's illegal, something that's criminal, so you can talk about something that's illegal. Even though you didn't contact the police, you didn't involve the police. If it involves something illegal, well, we'll say that that's the reason we get around the NDA by claiming you did something illegal. So that's the method that they're using. What followed was the beginning of a rocky consensual relationship that lasted nearly 2 years. What? Yes, she was so intimidated that she was swinging on him for 2 years. The relationship was very unequal. Sharpe is more than 30 years older, is considerably wealthier and physically much larger and exponentially stronger. Sharpe is famous and has power. Wait a minute, didn't he just say she didn't know who he was? People, what I'm saying is that, do you realize how deranged you have to be to accept hey, Tony, you said that she didn't know who he was. At the time, she didn't know who he was. So whatever money or fame he has obviously isn't relevant because you said she didn't know who he was. Furthermore, do you all realize they're using the same arguments that they use for employees? What does his money have to do with anything? She's not an employee. For all you jackasses who fell for that with Diddy, and I was yelling it then with Vince McMahon, I was yelling it then. Hey, stupid, all you dummies out there. Hey, he's using the exact same argument here for somebody who's not her employer. He didn't offer her a record deal. She doesn't work for ESPN. She's not a production assistant under him. This is just a chick he lay on top of every once in a while, and they're coming with the same rationales. Well, you know, this is a very unequal relationship. You have money and you're famous. What the hell does that have to do with anything? How is he holding that over your head? What power does that give? That's his money and his fame. How is that something that he's leveraging over you? You're not his employee. Well, I mean, she feels like an employee. Folks, do you realize how insane you have to be to go along with this? By the way, folks not liking the program here, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here in just a few moments. Want to just read a couple of more things here. Plaintiff and Sharpe saw each other on his terms, on his schedule, and often as often as 4 times a week. Over time, Plaintiff began to see Sharpe's true nature. 2 years, she found him to be dishonest about his whereabouts. Does this sound like somebody who doesn't want to see him? What happened to I was reluctant. I don't really want to see him. What happened to that? He contradicts himself in the very next paragraph. First, she didn't know who he was. Don't know who he is from Adam. Next, he's wealthy and famous? Oh, I don't really want to see him. You're dishonest about your whereabouts. If you don't want to see him, why do you care? He would lie about seeing other women while insisting to her that she and he were exclusive. So what you're saying is you found a chick who was scorned and angry because this man got options. And you're suing, you found some lawyer to sue based on nothing more than, he broke up with me. None of this is illegal. None of this is illegal and certainly not worth a civil lawsuit. But this is where we are today. She discovered over time that he was extremely emotional and possessed an uncontrollable temper. He displayed the characteristics of a true narcissist. He wielded his power, his influence, and his celebrity to control plaintiff and get exactly what he wanted whenever he wanted it, all the while jealously guarding what he considered his for himself. Okay, what do you mean? How does he wield his power and influence over someone who's not his employee? People, do you realize they're saying that you're wielding power and influence over some chick you lay up with every once in a while. They're talking as if she's his employee. That she can't just say, you know what, I'm done, and not answer the phone anymore. Do you realize how crazy this is, people? By October 2024, Sharpe's behavior had grown progressively worse, beyond anything plaintiff had experienced. By the way, he never explains how he wielded his power and influence to control her. Never says how that's done. He says that sentence and never explains it. Sharpe, now here's the thing that she has a problem with, folks. This part right here. Sharpe was also sharing videos of the two of them together without her permission or knowledge. Sharpe would repeatedly tell her that he wanted to do things that would, quote, make no other man want her. By this point, Sharpe was no longer able to credibly maintain that the relationship was exclusive. Did he ever? Folks, do you know what this means? This means that let me explain something to you. Let me give you the real. When a man is able to get a chick to put on a dog collar. What? Let me explain something to you, fellas. Even if you into that kind of thing, and according to them, she was the one who wanted it. Fellas, when you get a female to do certain things, when you're determined to own her being, and you want to take her places ain't nobody else done, get her to do things nobody else has done, please understand that if you get her to cross that line, far as she's concerned, nigga, you owe me for life. You owe me for life. You had me in dog collars. You had me kissing your feet. You had me doing every something there is. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you had me doing some fetish stuff that they sell on YouPorn. After you do that, it's like, oh, hell no, we ain't never breaking up. You don't get to put me in a dog collar, put me in handcuffs, put me in nipple piercings, put me in all kinds of strange contraptions. You don't get to get the baby oil and the Astroglide. What? You don't get to do that and then move on to another female. That's what she means. She meant that. Because she got with Shannon Sharpe and she said, oh, this is the biggity bag. And Shannon ran up, ran through, ran over. And now she was like, wait a minute. He had her sitting on the damn end of the bed with her pantyhose wrapped around her neck. Hey, baby, I gotta go right now. Skip and them call me from the office, baby. I gotta go. Talk to you later. Skip, where you at, Skip? So just understand, fellas, you want that because you know the kind of emotional cachet that has. You know that a female only does that if you are the one. Just understand that if you have them do that, far as she's concerned, nigga, you owe me for life. For the rest of your days. You do not get to give me the full ditty and then prance on to another chick. Now, here's the issue. No disrespect to Mrs. Zuniga, even though she's not deserving of any. No disrespect, but baby, she's not a 10. Yeah, she's in physical good shape, but she's not outrageously so. So, yeah, you've seen a lot worse, but you've also seen better. So, in this instance, baby, we see you when we come through. And she was like, wait a minute, if I threw these legs open and you sitting on mills? Oh, no. I'm supposed to get the full lifestyle upgrade. I'm supposed to get the Ferrari. I'm supposed to get rid of this YSL. It ain't nothing but Birkin bags from here on in. It's nothing but diamond rings and Birkin bags from here on in. That's what she was looking for. That's what she was expecting. That her ship had come in at 19 years old. Her ship came in and she finally gonna get the bag. And all she really found out is, baby, you're gonna get slutted out and tossed out. Now she's like, lawyer. Yeah, I mean, in her text messages, she talking about she wants a black baby gravy. What? Who the hell talks like a 19-year-old? What kind of 19-year-old talks like that? First of all, what kind of 19-year-old talks like that? But yeah, she made it very, very clear she was looking to lock something down because this man, he moving around too much. So she realized, hey, baby, you ain't got what it takes to be exclusive even with him. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. And when she realized she didn't have it, and then he about to get $100 million deal, and he's seeing other people, and you will never be the one. She's like, oh, lawyer time. Yeah, I mean, that's rather ominous. A female who's on OnlyFans and she's 19 years old. So, although we'll have that paperwork needs to come in on that. Paperwork needs to come in on that. So, anyway, I'm going down here because it says that it says Sharpe figured out how to get into her apartment without her permission. Sharpe made it clear that what she wanted was of no moment. Okay, that Sharpe would get what he wanted when he wanted it. In October 2024, Shannon Sharpe violently sexually assaulted and diddied plaintiff 2 different times in Las Vegas.
What?
Blatantly ignoring her request for him to stop. Folks, that was October 2024. He did it again in January. They're talking about January 2025.
What? Damn!
Lie. What? People, for the morons and dummies who sat there talking about, did it. Here we are again. So do you understand what he's saying all over again, just like the Diddy lawsuits? He's saying that this chick gave Shannon Sharpe 1 free complimentary rape. That's my point. Just like with Diddy. So let me get this straight, ma'am. You came out to Nevada. No, he didn't say he brought her out there. She came to Nevada. She came out to Nevada and 2 times in Nevada, allegedly was raped twice in Nevada, and then comes back 3 months later.
What?
So she can get some mo? So what you're telling me is that in Nevada, she gave him 1 complimentary rape. Actually, 2 complimentary rapes. If you're to believe what her attorney just filed. So what you're telling me is that, okay, she let the first couple of, quote, rapes slide? She let the first couple of rapes slide. Now, people remember, the deal about Shannon getting offered this big contract, that didn't come until earlier this year. So, yeah, it makes sense that after the beginning of this year, Shannon starts getting word that, hey, the bag about to come down. And all of a sudden, so what she's really documenting is their sexual encounters. But to the females out here, if a fella actually legitimately raped you, do you sit up here and go back 2 or 3 times? We covered this with the Diddy program a couple years ago, but that's not the way that works. You've been legitimately assaulted, you didn't like it, but you just kept going back. Oh, well, sometimes he rapes me. That's what you have to believe. What this says is, well, sometimes he rapes her. Sometimes he rapes me, and, we just do that sometimes. Sometimes he rapes me. Oh, he's calling me. Gotta go, bye. Once again, if that was your daughter telling you, hey, Dad, sometimes he rapes me, but, we're working through it. Sometimes he rapes me, sometimes he diddies me, but we're working through it. 90-day, 3 months later, we still working through it. I read to you all from the lawsuit here so that you can see that, by the way, it's everything I told you it was before. It's the same damn thing. This is a template. They pretty much could have copied and pasted this from the Diddy lawsuit. That's what I'm telling you. Plaintiff left Nevada to temporarily escape defendant. She now seeks justice through this action and other means. Every means except contacting the police. She wants damages in excess of $50 million. Now, what I don't like about this, and I won't put this up there, I hate going through that because that snuck up on me, but it's talking about she's residing in Clark County, Nevada. It puts Shannon Sharpe's information here in the lawsuit about where he lives. But this is the strategy that this Tony Busby uses. that they'll attack you, and the person that he's funding to attack you, that they won't put out their information. It'll just all be yours. So yeah, this is real extortion. And he's just got a record of doing that. If this were a black lawyer, they would have been disbarred him. If this were a black lawyer, they would have disbarred him. Period. Period. That's the way that goes. Now, I want to deal with a few things here. Let's deal with some of the stuff that people have been saying, and folks say silly things. They say dumb things. So let me go ahead and just run through that right quick. Folks talking about Shannon Sharpe when he talked to Monique. Monique tried to warn him. Okay, let's explain dummy philosophy number one. That's dummy statement number one. First of all, what are you trying to say? You shouldn't be wanting younger females. You should be wanting Tracy Ellis Ross. What? Nigga, please. This is what you all are trying to say. You should have listened to Monique, and you should really want a Tracy Ellis Ross. You should want someone like that. And to all the other washed up chicks out there telling yourselves that you're over the age of 40 and that men like Shannon, they should be wanting you. That's right. You shouldn't want them young chicks with no kids, no baggage. You shouldn't want that. You should want me. Don't you wish you had took care of me and little Larry and Ray Ray and Mike and Lil Slug? Don't you? That's what your ass get. You should have came over here and took care of us. This is where we're at today. This is where we are today. You should have come took care of us middle-aged women with all of our issues. Yeah. No, Shannon said, I'll roll the damn dice. I'll roll the damn dice with old gal over here. I'll roll the dice over here. Think about how stupid you sound. So we need to be chasing one of these chicks in their 40s and 50s. Because we all know that they aren't any trouble at all, right? We all know they're no trouble. Women in their 50s don't go to the gym. They bring in their 5 bastard kids by 6 different dudes, bring in their student loan debt they haven't paid off in 3 decades. Yeah, we should go over there on their 2nd or 3rd marriage or 50th or 60th body. Yeah, we should go over there. That's where we should be. We should be there. Jason, that chick crazy. Which one ain't? Who are the ones who aren't? If you're going to say that, okay, fine. Who are the ones who aren't? That's a simple question. If you're going to say something like that, you should be able to show us the ones who aren't. You don't want to do this. It gets worse. Because the bottom line is, even after all of that, Monique and the men would still rather take the risks with a female in her, if you're going to pay the cost, you'd rather pay it with a female in her prime than to take the guaranteed chaos of some old whack job. Everything's heading south on her body. Her attitude has been calcified. So it's like, oh hell, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Well, she's suing him. Okay, and the rest of you will divorce him. So would you rather have a civil suit or would you rather have a divorce suit? Which one would you rather have, Shannon? Go ask the guys out there talking stupid or the females talking stupid. By the way, which suit would you rather have, sir? Would you rather go to civil court or divorce court? Which one would you? They say, I'd rather take divorce court. Yeah, divorce court. That's good. Let me do that. So yes, if he had to take his chances, hell, you might as well roll the dice on some younger female as opposed to the guaranteed anarchy or some bitter old aged out run through failed 50-year-old hoopty-ho. Yeah, I said it.
And deal with it.
Yeah, I said it. Don't believe this lie they're trying to give you that if you deal with a certain type of woman, you'll be okay. That's the whole point I've been telling you all for years. A certain type of female. Where? Martians? What's the certain type of female that you found? The safe females who are no... Where'd you find them? The ones who are no issue. Where you found them at? Mars? Neptune? Where? Another thing, Monique is not eligible to date a professional athlete.
Damn!
The females co-signing Monique are not eligible to date a professional athlete. If you sitting on 100 million of them things, this is not what you trying to bring home. While they're trying to convince you that they are your best option. This ain't what you try. You sitting on 100 million of them things, and you got the ghost of Hood Rat's past trying to tell you that they are your best option. That this is where you need to park all that money on a chick whose runway been run out. They gave their best to a bunch of other dudes, and they think they're supposed to just get eternal second chances, and now it's your turn. Here, you drop it off for me. Monique is not eligible for a man sitting on 8 figures. She's not eligible. There's no reason for her to try to give any type of advice. Baby, listening to you is only going to get a man with a female like you. That doesn't inspire a man to make 8 figures. Show me one man that Monique has been with that he has independently made 8 figures on his own. I'll wait.
And deal with it, nigga.
Show me one that Monique has been with and he got up. He was so inspired being with her. He said, hey, I got to paper chase. I got to get the bag. And then he went and made 8 figures after he was with her. That's not the way it works. There's no man sitting next to her talking about this is $10 million of a good look. That's not the way it happens. It doesn't occur that way. That's the reason why it ain't gonna work. Monique isn't dating pro athletes, major figures, 10-figure men. Tracy Ellis Ross isn't dating pro athletes, entertainers, 10-figure men, 8-figure men. Michelle Obama isn't eligible for a pro athlete. She's only eligible for the washed up dude with all kinds of accusations about him going on. That's what Michelle Obama can get. She gets that. The females online hallucinating and deluding themselves and thinking that you can co-sign Monique. Baby, you're not eligible. It's not like Shannon Sharpe or any of the others is sitting there, damn, I should have said hello to Keisha online. Yeah, that's what I should have did. Let me get this straight. So if a man wants to be with a female who ain't built like damn me Gumby, what? He's gonna have to, this is what he gotta take his chances with? Get some old chick post-menopause, ragging and nagging the hell out of you for marriage or a baby. And it's like, baby, you ain't eligible for neither one. Well, you know, there's treatments in vitro. If you spend $100,000, I bet you I can get pregnant. What the hell? The baby is born with a walking cane. So a man's supposed to work his ass off to make millions a year, and this is what millions a year is gonna get him. So this is what millions, you're supposed to work your ass off, and this will be your, no, leave the other ones over there. You don't want none of that, they crazy. You need to be over here with us. So this is what you have to do. You don't get to get a female who's just genuinely fly, doesn't embarrass you being on your damn arm, that your bank account is bulletproof, and the female you with reflects your level of achievement. You don't get that. You don't get to have that. You're a man who is in your prime. You are still producing at an outrageously high rate, and you're supposed to get a female who's past her expiration date. Okay. And the internet is going to try to shame you and nag you. You should have got some bad ring there, and that's what you get. That's what you get for not accepting the spoiled milk over here. That's what you get. Really? Really? Hey, better idea. Like I say, these other chicks, they could be in the gym. It's not going to make them eggs, rehydrate. But yeah, they do that. This is where we at. This is where we at. But like I say, this is all very offensive to people. Tonight's program has been very offensive. I do understand that. So just wanted to go ahead and show up to throw my 2 cents in it here. Would have had a longer program, but folks not liking the program tonight, which is cool. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Like I say, more events will be unfolding. We will see how it comes down. Maybe I'll get to go over the rest of this then. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business or your business